Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of the Turnbuckle Bandwagon. My guest today, Army veteran, professional wrestler, competitive eater, the self-proclaimed Matt Barkley of the Buffalo wrestling scene,
Sure.
Megabyte Ronnie.
Sure. Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it. I love talk wrestling. So
Thanks, Matt. Well, firstly, before we get into the wrestling talk, I saw a little bit of your AMA yesterday. I appreciate your reason for starting it early. You were just leveling a hunter on World of Warcraft.
yeah. I was like, because the moderator told me to give it 2 hours, and I had already worked out. I really didn't have anything else to do, and I was just leveling up a hunter. And I was like, why don't I just go answer the questions now? So
there you go. You can always jump back into the Warcraft later. Now, I just briefly touch on your time as an Army vet. You did a tour in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
I did 4 years Navy, 2 summers in the Persian Gulf for me. You know, that side of the world is, yeah, thank you for your service. That part of the world can be a boring and dangerous place. It's a place to get inspired to get into competitive eating, though.
Yeah. I was deployed over to Afghanistan, and my cooks kept getting mad at me because I kept going in there and eating all the food. We had some protein bars. They were special K bars, and I would go in there and I'd eat like 4 or 5 at a time, and they'd run me off. So
aren't those supposed to be like meal replacement bars? Like you have one and you're good for like 8 hours?
Yeah. I think those special K bars run like 280 calories, so I shouldn't be snacking on them like that. But I was working my ass off, so I was probably burning 3,000, 3,500 calories a day, so I could afford it.
Nice. Now, you're originally not from Buffalo. You're based there now.
No, I'm an Army brat. It's hard to say where I'm from. I've lived everywhere. I went to 14 different schools growing up. I've lived in a lot of states. I've lived in a lot of countries. But I tell people that Buffalo is my first hometown. I love it here.
It's great. I have a friend who lives up there, and she loves the area. And to getting into wrestling, make sure I got my notes right here. You're still training at Grapplers Anonymous under Brandon Thurston.
Yeah, a lot of good wrestlers are coming out of Grapplers Anonymous, and I'm training under Brandon Thurston, but all those guys have a little bit of their hands in the megabyte pot, so I feel like I'm trained by all those guys.
Yeah, the guys that have come out of there, Red Death, Daniel Garcia, Kevin Blackwood, Puff,
yeah,
Thurston, Jay Freddy's kind of a little bit of a part of that group in and out. You've only been training a couple of years now. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been training a couple of years, and I honestly need to train more. Last year, I was really focused on competitive eating, and I was doing night classes on top of working a regular schedule. So I wasn't in there as training as much because I was trying to get college done. You know about the GI Bill. I was trying to make some extra money by doing 3 classes a semester.
Yeah.
And it was killing me, man. So I've dropped college now, and I've really stopped focusing on competitive eating, and now it's just straight wrestling.
Straight wrestling. Now, do you still hold your ranking in competitive eating, or does that kind of work as how many events you work?
Yeah, I'm still ranked 18th in the world. They really only update the rankings probably 2 or 3 times a year. Okay. The 4th of July, the Nathan's Hot Dog Contest is a big factor in your rankings. And last year I finished 10th in that, so that was real good for me. And I don't know when they're going to update the rankings again. I probably should say this now, but a couple months ago I retired from professional eating, and a couple of weeks ago I unretired, but I didn't really want to make a big fuss about it because I basically hit a point a couple months ago. It's like I got to go all in with wrestling, and I think I can still competitively eat. I just don't. I can't eat at the level I was eating at, but I still love it and I still want to do it.
Okay, so kind of a thing where if there's an event that comes along that gets your interest, you could reach out to the organization like, hey, can I jump in on this?
Yeah, exactly that. I'm not going to do as many contests as I used to. The contests I'm going to do are definitely going to be close by, and they're going to be foods I want to eat. But it's just been something I've done for 5 to 6 years now, so I can't walk away. I feel like Michael Jordan when he went to go play baseball for a couple of years.
Are there, going into a competitive event, like, are there nerves kind of similar to like playing sports where you get this weird kind of, I mean, yeah, you're weird feeling in your stomach, just a weird way to say it. But are there like that nerves, you get that kind of electric feeling before you go into a competitive eating event?
Yeah, I tell people I don't get hungry until about 30 seconds is over, because going on, the introductions, they're a lot like pro wrestling. The MCs, they do a real good job of hyping you up and getting you on stage. And then there's big crowds, at Nathan's. I've eaten hot dogs in front of 40,000 people. And, at Wingfest in Buffalo, there's probably 10,000 people there. So you get on stage, and if that's something you're not used to, being in front of a crowd like that, it could take away your appetite real fast.
Yeah, you get all knotted up and you're just like, oh, I can't do this.
Yeah, it happens. But once I start eating, it goes away.
Now, I came to know you seeing you at Beyond Wrestling. I saw you had appeared about a year and a half ago. And then most recently, I actually was watching the Thanksgiving show.
Yeah.
And I saw in your AMA, you actually kind of had to delay some family trips to make that Thanksgiving show, or was that something else?
Yeah, that's a story not too many people know about. I like to call myself the Buffalo backup, because what happened is that for Thanksgiving, they wanted to book the Buffalo brothers, okay. And one of them didn't want to give up their Thanksgiving with their family, so they reached out to me. And I live in Buffalo, New York for 2 years now, and I hadn't seen my mom in a while. And Thanksgiving is the biggest holiday in my family. Go figure, the one you eat. But so Thanksgiving was very important to me. And I told my mom, I'm like, hey, I really came past this opportunity to go wrestle at Beyond. She understood. I dished my mom and I went to Beyond for Thanksgiving. But the thing is I told her, I was like, hey, I'm going to come down for Christmas now. It's all good. And then Christmas rolls around and another Buffalo brother didn't want to wrestle for Christmas. And they called for the Buffalo backup. And I said, sorry, Mom, I'll see you later. And yeah, it's, I don't know. I love this business. It's not that big a deal. I joke about it. I'm not salty, at all about it. If Buffalo or if Beyond called me today and said, hey, could you get down to Massachusetts right now? I'd jump in the car.
In the car and go. Yeah. I had a dinner with my family on that day, and I couldn't hang out after. Like, we sat down, I was like, I have to be somewhere in like an hour and a half. So I'm going to have dinner, kiss my grandparents, like my mom, like, okay, see y'all later. I'm heading up to the show. Coming to Beyond, had you been like, I would assume with training up there at Grapplers, had you been watching Beyond and watching Uncharted Territory and kind of seeing how it had grown as the weeks went on?
Yeah, Uncharted Territory is probably my favorite thing in indie wrestling, period. I love the weekly atmosphere. And for some reason, you can see two people fight at Uncharted Territory or at Beyond Wrestling, and it feels like they've never fought before. It feels like it's like a big fight atmosphere. I love the crowd right up on the ring. I love everything about it. I love rooting for the underdog. So Uncharted Territory is by far my favorite thing. So I was definitely watching that. Plus, Daniel Garcia just had the run with the title, and I'm a huge Red Death fan. So big Beyond fan as well.
Yeah, Red Death's he's serious. So when I talked to Max Caster last week, he wants to fight Daniel Garcia straight up. He's like, me, him, one-on-one, let's do it.
Bro, he's in for an ass whooping, I'll tell you that. I fought Garcia a couple times now, and that guy knows how to fight.
Yeah, he's pretty much got kind of one speed walk and then just come after you and kill you and rah.
Well, yeah, he tried to kill me.
That was it. Now, just as a wrestler and even as a fan, were there any particular matches that kind of stood out to you in Uncharted Territory that you watched and you were just like, the wrestler brain drops and you're just enjoying it as a fan?
Yeah, Puff versus Brandon Thurston is probably my favorite match of last year. Probably of last year.
Yeah, last year.
I hang out with Puff quite a lot. He's a super good friend of mine. We did the cinematic match and and people don't know this about Puff, but Puff can go, dude. He's an animal in the ring. He does a lot of the comedy stuff, but when it comes time for him to put up or shut up, he can put up. So just seeing him in there with Brandon Thurston, really putting on a good classic wrestling match with not too much comedy stuff. I popped so hard for that match.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks and a lot of fans, because Beyond Uncharted Territory started picking up fans in the latter half of the year. A lot of people who had maybe seen Puff at other shows weren't sure that he could get in the ring and hang with Brandon Thurston. And by the end of that match, a lot of the reaction on social media was like, oh, I thought he was a comedy guy, but he's getting in there and fighting with Brandon Thurston.
Yeah, great match, man. Shout out to Puff and Thurston for that one.
Listen, and speaking of Puff, and you mentioned the 4th of July match, I wanted to ask about. That was great. With the Nathan's versus, is it pronounced Sahlens or Sahlens? I know it's a regional brand there.
Sahlens, man. They're a Buffalo hot dog. They're tasty as hell. I love me some Sahlens.
The argument sounded a lot like when we talk about pizza here in Connecticut. We have New Haven Pizza, and there's 3 different places, and everyone kind of has their fiery opinions about what is best.
Bro, I'll tell you this: nobody eats Nathan's in Buffalo, so I was on that hill by myself.
Just kind of standing there like, oh, just got my Nathan's here. Everyone else is getting on Sahlens. The video was great. Was it something you had always wanted to do, or something you and Puff worked out, or?
You know what? Puff was over at my house, and we were playing Mario Kart or something like that.
All right. Who's better at Mario Kart?
Oh, me. I'm a monster at Mario Kart. Like,
you go. See, I go Luigi. I'm a Luigi guy. So who do you roll with?
I play with the small Koopa. I can't remember their name right now.
Okay, but
I like your own duck. I think Lenny. I think that's his name.
Okay, yeah, because a couple of my names.
I like lightweight characters, so I play with him. And I've been playing Mario Kart since I was 4 years old, and a lot of those tracks are from the Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64. You can't touch me on a Nintendo 64 or Super Nintendo track. I have those motherfuckers memorized. Like, I can play blindfolded, so I'm a beast. He got a wheel controller a couple of days ago, and now he's training up to get at me again. But
okay,
I don't think he's gonna get me in Mario Kart.
So you guys kind of worked out, hey, maybe we should try this and do this, and
yeah, we both really miss wrestling a lot. And we talk about it almost every day. And it was like, why not? Like, we have nothing to lose. We both think we can make something really good. I honestly think that match that me and Puff put out is the best thing I've ever been a part of. I'm so proud of how it turned out. We worked really hard. A lot of those shots were hard to get. I destroyed my hot tub for a scene. Like, if there's one thing I could ask anybody to do, is just watch that match. If you want to do me a favor, just watch that match. If you like it or don't like it, that's fine, but give it a shot.
Definitely, yeah. When this goes up, I will kind of put the 4th of July match or bring it up with it, because I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I really liked during this pandemic how a lot of wrestlers have kind of gotten out of their comfort zone of like, you know what? Let's make a production out of this. Let's do something. And everyone I follow has really been involved in something like this, be it like the Shook Crew versus Slade, you and Puff. There's been a couple of the ones down in like the Florida, Georgia. I think Southern Underground Pro did something.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. It's different. It's different, and you get because there's no commentary, so you just get like brought into it. It's like watching a movie, watching an action movie.
Yeah, that's what we wanted, man. We wanted something that people who aren't even wrestling fans can enjoy. And I've had numerous people who don't know a thing about wrestling tell me they enjoyed it. So that's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, those are great too. Where I have friends who aren't wrestling fans who like see this clip online. They're like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's these guys and these guys. They work here. Check this out." And gets them to kind of gets them in the door to watch them. And man, also, yeah.
I was gonna say, man, you see me and Puff dancing to Katy Perry. You have no clues about wrestling, right?
It was great. I enjoyed it. I'm a Katy Perry fan, man. I dig it. Also, the shout out appearance of Megabyte Ashley, your personal security.
Yeah, she was looking tough there, dude.
Man. She rolled got the t-shirt. That's rough. Is Megabyte Ashley going to be appearing anywhere else anytime soon? We're going to see her.
I don't think she wants to be she'll definitely do the stuff on video, but like as far as like a manager role or anything like that, I don't think that's her cup of tea. She really likes being at the merch table and pushing my merch and talking to fans and families, and she really likes enjoying watching the show. So it would be hard for me to imagine her taking like a manager role or anything like that. But if I'm going to be putting out more of these videos or anything on my YouTube channel, of course my wife's going to be involved.
Definitely, yes. Just special character, special cameo. Megabyte Ashley rolls in.
Yeah.
And for a lot of folks who've recently seen you doing hot ones with Cody.
Oh yeah.
Did they reach out to? How did that come about? Like, did you know it was going to be Cody, or did they just reach out and say, "Hey, we're going to do something"? Hot Ones is blown up over the past year and a half. Kind of, how did that all come about?
Yeah. Well, I did Hot Ones, the game show with Ashley, the first season that's out right now. I think we were the halfway season finale because every TV show likes to do half a season and take a break now. So we were the last episode of the first half. We didn't win that one, and that was fun. I don't know how they found me on that. They just reached out to me on Instagram actually one day, and lo and behold, we wound up doing the show. So they reached out to me a couple weeks ago, and they said, "Hey, we're going to do this Redemption web series, and we'd like to have you on. Do you know any celebrities?" And I replied back, and I was like, "Honestly, guys, I don't do a lot of pop culture stuff. I really just watch wrestling and play video games." And they were like, "Oh, okay. Have you heard of AEW?" And I'm like, "Of course I've heard of AEW." And they're like, "All right, great. We'll find somebody from AEW to be on." And I was kind of nervous that, they were going to find somebody that like maybe I didn't know or something like that. I never in my life would have imagined that Cody was going to be on the show. So when the camera or when his webcam came on and I saw Cody there, that was a real reaction, man. I didn't know what to do.
I saw it was because when I saw it, and I think everyone was like, did he know? Did they say? Because it seemed like you were just,
no clue. No clue.
I mean, yeah, he did. He just did the shot with you. I mean, he was all in.
Yeah, shout out to Cody. They the AEW version cut out some. I think Hot Ones has actually put out like the fuller version. The AEW one, they cut it down to like 2 minutes, and the fuller one's probably like a 5-minute video. But Cody Rhodes, Sean Evans told Cody Rhodes as Cody was pouring the shot, like, "Hey, Cody, you don't have to do that. That's for Ronnie." And Cody said, "Nah, I'm not going to leave him hanging." That's probably the coolest story I had from that moment, just the fact that Cody jumped in there with me. He definitely regretted it afterwards. He said a couple times it was the worst mistake he ever made. That hot sauce is no joke. Like, I was fucked up for a week after that hot sauce. Like, I have done this before, and I did it on the show, and I was like, I'll never touch this hot sauce again. But when they tell me it's going to be with somebody from AEW, like, I don't care. I'll drink lava to get AEW. So Cody was super cool. He commented on my physique a couple of times, which was nice to hear. And then, the ultimate thing was at the end there where he said, "Hey, we'd love to bring you out to AEW ring." So I'm still waiting on that.
There we go. I mean, yeah, everyone seemed like the first time I saw you, they announced you coming out, and I'm like, all right, like the bacon scarf and tights, but then like they say you're a competitive eater, man, but like your physique, you're like, okay. I mean, I try not to judge anyone because I've seen, like Kobayashi is like 110 pounds, all these different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
And what is in terms of maintaining your physique and like where does that balance come in? Like, do you just like hit the gym hard 2-3 days and then do your eating? I'm genuinely curious as to how you maintain your physique. Folks, watch Beyond Wrestling, watch that Thanksgiving show. The man's the man's got a physique. It's a physique.
Yeah, it's balance really. So when I'm training for competitive eating, I eat a lot of low calorie food. So I'll eat like, I don't know, a ton of lettuce, a ton of grapes, watermelon. I'll eat like a whole watermelon and stuff like that. So
that's good.
As far as balancing the two, if I have a contest coming up, I diet real hard, and I think of the contest as my cheat meal. Okay. Now that I'm not running a lot of contests, I had kind of like let myself slip. I think everybody did once this COVID thing hit.
Yeah.
And, I was out of the gym for like a month, and I had gotten up to about 248 pounds, and it wasn't good weight. And ever since the ever since the Hot Ones taping, I've been doing 2-a-days in my gym. I got a gym in my garage, and I'm down to 226 right now. I'm trying to get down to like 215 to be really leaned out. And it's just I don't know, man. Like, I just want to be a wrestler. That's what it comes down. When I want to eat something shitty or I don't want to work out, I think about how bad I want to do this, and it just being a wrestler kind of just like drives me to whatever goal I'm going for.
Yeah, I'm sure when Cody said, "Hey, we'd like to bring you down," like it was like, you know what? Let me hit the gym now before I go to bed, and then I'll get in there in the morning.
It was exactly like that. Ever since Cody has said that, I've been on a whole different level. I'm not a big social media guy, but I'm trying to be now, and I'm trying to even out my game all around. And like you said, man, once Cody said we want to bring you down, it started ticking. Like, oh, like this is happening. Like I gotta go. I gotta get ready. So I've worked out once today, and I'm gonna work out once again, and I'm gonna keep working out twice a day until hopefully Cody gives me a call.
Yeah, I mean, AEW Dark's been a showcase for, during the pandemic has really been a blessing for them because they've had a chance to feature independent wrestlers who maybe normally might not have gotten a chance. When I talked with Max, they brought Max down twice for 2 matches. And, guys like Serpentico and, Robert Taylor, all these different folks that I kind of heard of, kind of knew, but getting down, to Jacksonville, which is like the home base for them. Is there, just fantasy-wise, is there anyone you've seen recently that and putting Cody aside, is there anyone that you want to face one-on-one that you think you match up well with or you think would be a good match that people want to watch?
This may be a little bit of a shocker, but when I got out of the Army in North Carolina, I went to go train at a place in North Carolina. I don't really want to say the name. I didn't really get along with the trainer. And I only trained there for a month. But in that month, I met Griff Garrison when he was probably 17 years old, maybe 16 years old, I think. And Griff Garrison's been on there twice, and he just had a match with Lance Archer, and it was a damn good match. And just to see Griff Garrison where he's grown, Griff Garrison may not even know who the hell I am, but I knew who he was, and I would love, like absolutely love, to get an AEW Dark and get in the ring with him. Just because our paths really started at the same place, and here we would be.
It would be an interesting story, 2 guys kind of trained together a little bit, meeting up together at AEW.
Yeah, me and him one day, the trainer had an uppercut class, and it was like a tournament to see who could give the best uppercut. Oh. And me and Griff Garrison went back and forth, I swear, for like 30 minutes, just uppercutting the hell out of each other. That boy can throw an uppercut, and so can I. So I'd love to get back in the ring with him.
Yeah, and you mentioned training, and I've been wanting to bring this up when I've talked to wrestlers. We talk about culture of training and how there's this old school kind of like abuse/training, and you didn't want to mention the school, which I totally respect. What has the culture been like up at Grapplers Anonymous? Training with Brandon Thurston and all those guys. What does that culture bring that is different and that it's good because Grapplers build a reputation in New York, and building a reputation as being a solid training school.
Grapplers Anonymous is by far the best place to train to be a professional wrestler. If you're out there watching this right now and you want to be a professional wrestler, move to Buffalo and train at Grapplers Anonymous. You're going to train with great trainers. You're going to train with young, hungry athletes. There's so many people at Grapplers Anonymous that should be booked everywhere. Like there's guys that barely get booked anywhere that I watch other wrestling shows, and I'm like, there's no way that my guys shouldn't be on these shows. Grapplers Anonymous is great. You got guys that are taking over the indies like Puff, Garcia, Blackwood, Bennett, and those guys will give you tips. They'll give you advice. They'll train with you. I was nervous as hell for my first practice match. My first practice match was with Blackwood, and he basically held my hand and dragged me through it. And without that, I don't know. It just builds up my confidence. It's such a team atmosphere there. It's really great, especially for me, somebody like who's been in the Army, who's kind of used to a brotherhood. I feel like Grapplers Anonymous is the brotherhood, and I could say as many great things about it. It's endless. Like I love that place.
Yeah, and I want to shout out to Kevin Blackwood. I've seen him wrestle at a bunch of different shows. Wrestling as a Tomorrow show. And we got Empire States up there in Buffalo, beyond. Yeah. He seems to be the type of wrestler you can put him in a match with anyone, and you're gonna get a good to great match from Kevin Blackwood.
My best matches of my career are my practice matches with Kevin Blackwood. I would absolutely, as a matter of fact, if AEW said, "Hey, pick your opponent, we're gonna be evaluating you," I'd probably pick Blackwood because I trust him that much in the ring. Plus, me and him kind of have this dynamic where he's kind of, tattooed up and a little bit edgier and. Yeah. And he's vegan, and I'm a competitive meat eater and a military vet. I think our stories kind of mesh up with each other. So shout out to Blackwood. He's a great wrestler, and he's really coming into his own. These last couple of months before COVID hit, he kind of changed his look just a tad bit, and I love it. I think if COVID didn't hit, Blackwood would probably be signed right now. He's that good.
Yeah, he's the contrasts are different. I've seen him like at his merch table. He's very quiet, nice, pleasant. But the look is, he's got the hair, the tats, and then you're kind of the clean cut type.
Yeah.
So the dynamic works very well.
Yeah, I'd love to feud with Blackwood somewhere.
I mean, and the show, you talked about the environment at Beyond, and I want to go back to that real quick. For folks who maybe have only seen it online or kind of new to Beyond, you as a wrestler walking into like the White Eagle or a Beyond show, what is that like? What is that energy like for you as a wrestler seeing, you come out to this room, there's maybe, some chairs, but everyone's around the ring. You get in that ring and they're right there on you. What's that like, your tag matches or your singles matches there? For you, what's that like? Like, what's that feeling like?
Oh man, it's like going to war. It's like going to battle, dude. It's crazy. You come out and those people are there and they're with you, and it's really great because for somebody like me, when I went to go wrestle there, man, I got like 800 Twitter followers. Those people didn't know who the hell I was. So for me to be able to come out there and connect with those people eye to eye, face to face, even before I got in the ring, was phenomenal. And then the second time there, when I went for the one-on-one match with Thurston, I was feeling a little bit unconfident, to be honest with you, because it was my 16th, 17th match ever. And it's at Beyond Wrestling, and here I am, a big fan of the promotion, wrestling one-on-one with the guy who trained me. And I got in the ring and they started chanting hot dog shit. And once they started chanting hot dog shit before the match started, once I knew those guys were with me, man, all my nerves went out the window and I was just ready to try and put on as good of a match as I could. So that
wow. they have the Beyond crowd, and I've been up there. I try to make up to at least 1 or 2 shows a month with my schedule. It's their relationship with Brandon Thurston is singular because he's a great wrestler and no one can deny that. But, his face doesn't change. He gets cranky. Like, there have been times where they've announced, like, these big matches for him, and he's just standing off to the side. They announce it, he just, like, boom, poker face, stone face. What's it like to get do you guys, like, compete to get a reaction out of him? Like, he just seems so just, like, stalwart.
I think Brandon Thurston's one of those guys that after you've known him for a week, he is who you think he is. Like, he's just very straightforward. Which is great to have in a teacher, because if you do something that that he thinks sucks, he'll let you know that it sucks. And and when Brandon marks out for you or Brandon gives you praise, you feel like you do something really good, because there's not a whole lot of that to be passed around. So the guy that's on camera at Beyond, that's pretty much who Brandon Thurston is.
Yeah, I've just watching him wrestle is great, but then seeing him not react when wrestlers seeing wrestlers watch wrestling is always interesting, because you all react to different things. But he's just out there, stands up against the wall, kind of just, and that's what you get. It's just like a gargoyle or something.
I'm the opposite. I love to watch wrestling with people who don't watch wrestling, just to see what they react to. Before we went on camera, I was mentioning that I was watching Uncensored WCW 98.
Yeah.
And my wife, Raven got handed a sign from somebody, and it said, use this sign, and he hit him over the head with it and ripped the sign up, and there's a stop sign in it. And my wife marked harder for that than I've ever seen her mark for anything in my life. And that got my wheels turning, like, there's a reason she's marking out for something like that. So when you go to wrestling shows, especially indie shows, there's always people out there who don't know anything about wrestling, and you got to entertain those people as well.
Yeah, I've brought friends to indie shows, and they may not be independent wrestling fans, but I've told them, like, it is about the wrestling, but you're going to be entertained. Give it a shot. Folks out there, if you've never been to a show, you got Empire State's up in Buffalo. You've got organizations there here in New England. I know Ronnie said that, training in Buffalo is where you want to go. New England's doing pretty good too. We got Creative Pro in New York. We got some good schools here too. This whole region of the country is where you want to come and watch independent wrestling right now, if I may say so, as a fan who watches a fair amount of wrestling.
Yeah, I think the Northeast has really taken off. I know back in my day, when I was big into indie wrestling back when I was 16, 17, and it seemed like back then that California was really the region that you had to go to watch all the good people. But now I think it's the Northeast, man. There's so much talent up here. Just look at a Beyond show. It's stacked.
The region, like when I was growing up, it was kind of like California, Texas, Florida.
Yeah,
it could only be so good, and then you had to leave Connecticut, you had to leave New England. and it's not like that anymore. Guys come up here and get signed. Like, people seeing Keith Lee and Donovan Dijak tear each other up on NXT. I've seen that in Connecticut. I've seen that show in Connecticut. I've seen that beyond. It's the trends are getting set here, and it's, I think it's great. And it's a great time if you're a fan. COVID has put a damper on that, but things are winding back up. Beyond's got a show coming up. I know other shows are kind of starting. Is there anything going on up that way, or is everyone still kind of in a holding pattern?
New York's rough, man, because, I think Como's did a great job with New York, but he had to be really strict because of New York City. It's such a big city, but unfortunately here in Buffalo, we get hit with restrictions that are really meant for New York City. So I think New York State's a really hard place to run a show right now. I would think, for me personally, if I was going to be on a show soon, it would probably be in Ohio or Pennsylvania, where it's a little bit more relaxed. But for New York State, it's probably going to be a little bit. I've heard from other people who are bookers that they've put out guidelines for wrestling, and it's like impossible to meet.
Yeah, I know there's been a couple shows. GCW's done some shows that have worked out. Beyond's doing Atlantic City. So we'll see. I hope as we come out of this, we get wrestling back. It may not be what it was before, but I have no problem going to a Beyond show and having a mask on and having to be a little bit of distant, because Beyond shows can be everyone kind of on top of each other, which I'll miss that part for, a bit. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a tough personal choice as a fan. I don't know what to make of that whole situation, but I know as a performer, I would feel safe with somebody like Drew running the show. So I would hope that the fans feel safe, and if you don't feel safe, then just don't go. But hopefully, I've seen some of the guidelines and stuff that he's put out, so I would think as a fan you should be good. Just follow the rules. Wear a damn mask.
Exactly. Wear a mask. Drink water. Hydrate. Be nice to each other. I feel like that's covers everything.
Right.
Yeah. It's. You mentioned like old WCW pay-per-views. I was watching Great American Bash, 95, 96. And I feel like that era of wrestling just before WCW blew up had a lot more entertainment than people want to give it credit for.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like watching like a 20-year-old Rey Mysterio and Dean Malenko tear it up, is great stuff. Or seeing like the Dungeon of Doom. Do you sometimes think, wrestling maybe misses some of that, or could use a little bit more quote unquote cartoon? Or
yeah, I would say my favorite era of wrestling is right before the Attitude Era really took off. I like the stuff like 92 to 95, 96. I like that era of wrestling. I also like the Ruthless Aggression era quite a lot. I do think that wrestling could use some more of that, but I don't know. This thing is always evolving, and there's something for everybody, right? So like, if I know what I like, but I don't. If somebody else doesn't like that, that's fine, dude. Like I've met people who love to see Puff go out there and dance and have comedy matches and stuff like that, and they could care less if two big guys go out there and beat the hell out of each other. And I'm not going to sit here and tell them that they're wrong for liking what they like. So I'm A-okay with where wrestling is right now, and I think we're heading in a good place. Wrestling's for everybody, so.
Wrestling is for everybody. And quickly before I go, I love the fanny pack, your hot dog fanny pack. Where'd that come from? Just random purchase somewhere?
Well, my favorite move that I do, my favorite wrestler of all time is The Rock. So I do a move called the People's Hot Dog, where I do the People's Elbow, except I bite into a hot dog on my way down. So I had to come up with somewhere to get the damn hot dog to the ring. So I wear the fanny pack out to the ring. I just typed in hot dog fanny pack on Amazon, and that's where I got that thing. I've tried to come up with other ways to get a hot dog to the ring, but the only other option is to wrestle with it stuffed in my trunks, and I don't think that's going to work out. And it seems kind of inappropriate to reach down in my trunks and pull out a hot dog. So I guess the fanny pack is the best option I got.
During the I don't know if you watched it back, but during the Thanksgiving match, when you threw the fanny pack on, Sidney Bacabella was like, "What's he doing? That's illegal." I'm like, "Is it though? Is it really? I don't think it is."
Hey, JJ Garrett wrestles with one on for the entire match, so it can't be illegal for me to put one on.
Hey, in that match, Ohio match, just one more quick question for me as a fan. A lot of people say JJ Garrett's a lot stronger than he looks.
Yeah.
Okay, you verified.
Definitely, man. It's funny because I forgot what he said, but he flexed, and somebody started laughing at him, and he goes, "This is all natural." He's actually like strong, a lot stronger and tougher than what he looks. I think JJ's a hell of a competitor. I'd love to get in a one-on-one match with him over the rights to the fanny pack, I guess.
You put the fanny pack up. Winner takes all fanny packs.
Yeah.
And the loser can no longer wear a fanny pack. That should be like the big stipulation.
That's a rough one for both of us. I think we both need our fanny packs, so that's pretty much a death match for either one of us.
Oh no. Well, Ronnie, thanks so much. Where can folks find you on social media or wherever out there on the internet?
You can find me at on every social media at Megabyte Ronnie. Megabyte is spelled MEGABYTE. Ronnie, RONNIE. I'm on Instagram at Megabyte Ronnie. I'm on Twitter at Megabyte Ronnie. You can follow me at YouTube at youtube.com/Megabyte Ronnie if you want to see some eating videos or some wrestling videos. I think I have a TikTok. I'm not sure. Any social media platform, if you type in Megabyte Ronnie, you'll find me.
Yeah, folks, check out that 4th of July. I'm going to try and include it when we post this. I'm going to include a link to that video to have on both because it's a great match. It's entertaining. Katy Perry, Megabyte Ashley, hot dog debates. What more could you really want on 4th of July?
Yeah. It's funny because we went out there to film the last scene where we get knocked into the water the night before, and we ran out of daylight. So I wear a thong under my gear for all my matches because like 5 years ago, I saw a Lance Storm tweet where he said, "Hey, if you're out there and you're a wrestler, you should think about all your audiences and they don't want to see, your underwear line." And I was like, well, if Lance Storm says I should wear a thong, then I should wear a thong. And
advice from a great wrestler.
Right. So the night before, I was like, I'm going in this damn lake. So I just stripped down to my thong and I jumped in the lake and posted it on TikTok, and it got like, I don't know, 16, 17,000 views. I wish I could just go talk to all 17,000 people and be like, "Hey, go watch the wrestling match. This is the better part,
Come on over,
Yeah.
You get thong plus some other stuff,
Hey, man, if that's what it takes, I'll wrestle Puff in the thong. If that's what it takes, 15,000 views on that 4th of July show. But yeah, definitely go check that out, guys. It's the best thing I've ever been a part of, and I think you'll really like it.
Okay, well, again, Ronnie, thank you so much. We're going to do our best to have this posted. Again, thanks again, Ronnie. Hope to see you in the AEW ring, man. I'll be following you, cheering you on if you get the call down there.
I hope so. I'm the type of guy who I don't really believe something's going to happen until it happens. So I'm not holding my breath until those plane tickets come. But I'll be ready for when those plane tickets come. That's for sure.
Okay, Ronnie, again, thanks so much, man.